Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz Interview Series with veteran jazz guitarist Dave Stryker on the 2023 album called Prime. Fresh off their summer tour opening up for Steely Dan, this is the first recording featuring his working trio. And that includes Jared Gold on organ and McClenty Hunter on drums. And this album offers 8 new original compositions. We get into this record, the new post-COVID world, and the future ahead. Enjoy.
Dave, it's great to catch up with you. Thanks for taking a minute out today. I appreciate it.
Oh, sure, man. Thank you.
So before we get into your newest release, it actually came out on February 3rd, Prime, I want to know, we went through this whole COVID time. Things are waking up. The jazz community was really roughed up quite a bit. How did you do, and how have you kind of changed the way that you're approaching things now?
Yeah, it was a rough time. It's funny that this particular record even is kind of a result of those times. I don't know if you know some of the backstory on it. Do you? I'll just do a briefly tell you what's happened was we were supposed to, in the end of 2020, we were supposed to go down to, had a gig booked in Miami. And everything had shut down at that point, but he wanted, anyway, they allowed me to send a video instead. That they could play on their live stream. Nobody had really played together in quite a while, but we had done, I think we did a live from my basement one time, on the internet. But basically, my working group with McClenty and Jared, just like everyone else, had just been, waiting to play again. And so, knowing that I was going to go in the recording studio, because I said, look, I'll just send in a video. We'll video it. They have, the recording studio has GoPros in all the booths. We'll just go in there and we'll all be in our own booth and we'll, let's make, if I'm going to be in the studio, let's make a record. So knowing that I was going in the studio, I decided to write a whole bunch of new music, and that's always, gives me some inspiration if I know I'm going in the studio to get busy and try to write some new music. And that's how that all came about. And we had this is the first one that just features the trio. And then subsequently, this last summer, we went out with Steely Dan, and so this seemed like a perfect time to release the trio record. But yeah, as far as I teach at a couple universities, so I continued to teach online, and I have an online school, so I did that and got through it like everybody did, but it is nice to be back playing again. Oh, really nice.
Well, yeah, and I think, from my perspective, going out and seeing the music, it's magical. I mean, every single time, and I've been doing it consistently for a while now. How do the crowds feel to you? How is the vibe as a musician on stage with, everything that we've gone through with the absence of it and getting back to it?
It seems to be people are certainly appreciative. Since we didn't have it for a while there, I feel that energy from the people, definitely. We played at Smalls. We played at Smalls in New York City a couple weekends ago, and every set was sold out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So being around like Steely Dan too, I would imagine that would have to be a rush now with, like just what you said, with so many people that are coming out to watch it. What was the feeling there?
Well, that was last summer, and all these touring acts, have COVID protocols, so everybody was being careful, and there was masks backstage and testing and all this kind of stuff, because you can imagine, that could shut down a tour very quickly. So it was still lingering in that way, but once we got on stage, masks, no masks, it was, for me, it was a thrill. I'm a huge fan of Steely Dan, and to have Donald Fagen ask me to open up for his summer tour was incredible. And it was a lot of fun every night. We ended up doing about 20 dates up and down the Northeast corridor here, and it was cool, man. You got to hand it to Donald for having an organ trio open up for his big rock and roll act or whatever. Of course, we all know Steely Dan is quite sophisticated. A lot of jazz influences. So it did it really did end up making sense after I realized it, and the people were appreciative. They, we got a really good response, and by the end of our set, man, they were with us.
So on Prime, you got your long-standing trio of Jared Gold on organ and drummer McClenty Hunter. How does it work so well with you guys? How did you come together, and how did you feel the chemistry and the overall vibe on this recording? How did you think it came out?
I feel like it really came out well. Like, one of the other things I told them was, since we were kind of doing a concert in the studio to send to Miami for this thing, I said, we're just going to do one take of each song, just like we're doing a set, and no overdubs. And that's the beauty of having played together so much. We've been together probably about 15 years now, and so there's a real chemistry in the group, I feel, and, trust, these kind of things. And we were able to just to go in and do our thing and capture the magic,
So when you get, radio people and journalists talking to you about an album, you've already moved on. Like that, there's so much production, there's so much that goes into an album. Where are you at now with this new year starting? Hopefully warm weather coming up. What's going on with you as we look down the line here in 2023?
Well, I'm always thinking ahead and stay inspired. We have a lot of gigs, with the trio, so it stays fresh there, and we have quite a repertoire between the new record and all the stuff we've been doing over the years, so we could go a lot of different ways. But just between us, I have a project that's going to happen sometime, probably by the end of this year, where I'm going to do an orchestral project. With the last record, as we are, had a string quartet, and that really inspired me. And I teach out at Indiana University, and the head of the big band. We did a project recently for PBS, tribute to Wes Montgomery, because it's Wes's 100th birthday coming up in about a month, and so we did all Wes's music. And I had an organ trio out there play about 2 or 3 of his songs, and then the rest was with combination of big band and orchestra, string orchestra. And it was so amazing to hear that. And so I taught, his name's Brent Walrab. He's the out at Indiana University. And I said, we should record this. And he said, yeah. And then we decided, well, let's do, I'm thinking, I didn't really want to do Wes, we did the concert, but, obviously there's only one Wes, and I didn't feel like I needed to try to do that. But what I did do was, I started thinking, and I said, it's been done, of course, but maybe not with the guitar up front as much as you would think, movie themes, and pick some really hip ones. And, so that's kind of what I'm looking ahead to do, and that's going to be a huge project.
Well, Dave, I don't want to assume, I know everybody knows the usual suspects of going out and getting and buying or streaming the music, but let everybody know more directly where's the best place to pick up the album, Prime, and to find out anything about touring, anything revolving around your world.
I just have a new website, new and improved. We completely redid it, and that's my name, Dave Stryker, STRYKER DaveStryker.com. And everything's on there. If you want to order CDs, find out where I'm playing, what's going on, it's all there.
Dave, it's always great to catch up with you. Thanks for taking a little time out today. Good luck with everything. Have a great New Year, man.
Thank you so much. Great talking to you, John.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players in New York City, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. Thanks to Dave for always being reliable and talking to Neon Jazz about his enormous talents. If you want to hear more interviews, visit Neon Jazz Interviews at either Apple Podcast or Spotify. You can also find us on YouTube. And for everything Neon Jazz, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.